is Raina. Thank you for joining me on my crochet channel. In this video we will crochet the Love Pennant for upcoming Mother's Day, and we are using tapestry crochet technique to crochet the letters and images, and you'll also get to practice or learn the surface slip stitch technique to make the edges prettier. And so I recommend this project for intermediate skill level. My pennant measures about 5.5 inches wide, not including the fringe. The wooden sticks that I use are 6 inches, and it's about 6 inches from top to bottom. And this is my chart. So we start here with 35 single crochets, and these lines show where we need to decrease the stitches, and we'll do a total of 38 rows. The white squares will be my color A, the letters will be color B, and the heart will be color C. And I use 3 colors of Baton's Grace cotton yarn. The first color is natural. The size of this yarn is light 3. One ball has 50 grams, 136 yards. One ball of each color is enough. And my second color, this is called Orchid. And my third color, this red, is called Cardinal. And my crochet hook is 2.75 millimeters. And you see our image is upside down. The first row is the top row, 35 stitches. So we start with 35 foundation chains. And with this pattern we don't have to leave long tails because we're going to trim them afterwards. So I usually leave about 1.5 inch tail. And 35 chains. And after each row we cut off the yarn and fasten off. And the first row, make a slip knot, and I'm going to single crochet in each chain. And again, cut off yarn and fasten off. Starting with the second row, we will use the crochet knit stitch, and that means we insert hook between the vertical loops of each single crochet, not under the horizontal loops as usual. And this can be a bit tighter than usual. the chart, I see that the third row is going to be the same. And also we need to read the chart always from right to left with this pattern. So I put these little arrows here to mark the beginning of each row. And again, I will do my knit stitches. And on the fourth row, I will join my second color for the letters. And I first need to make 4 stitches with first color, and to join the second, I will place it here above my stitches so I can keep it inside my stitches. And I'm going to make my knit stitches as before, just keep that second yarn inside. And the fourth stitch I need to finish with second color yarn, so I'll bring it up, then yarn over with it and pull it through the loops, and then hold the first color on the back but also keep it inside the stitch, and just 1 stitch with second color. So I pull up a loop and I finish it with first color. Now 5 stitches with first and holding second color yarn inside the stitches. And the last 5th stitch, switch to second color, and I bring up my second color in front of that first. Again, keep the other yarn inside stitches and make 2. And already the second one need to switch back to first. I'll bring up the first yarn behind the second so they won't get twisted. Yarn over and pull through. And 2 stitches with that. Second one again, switch to second color. Now 1, switch back to first color, and 3, third one, switch to second color, and 1, switch to first, and 1, switch to second. Now it's gonna be my E letter. I'll do 4 with the second color. Change the 4th stitch to first color, then 3, third one, switch to second color, and now my U letter, make 1 with second, switch to first color, then 2, switch to second and 1, switch back to first, finish with 4 stitches with first. Now I will cut off both yarns and fasten off my first color. And my 5th row is here from right to left. I start the row with the same way. Place the second color yarn above the stitches, and then we again have to do 4 stitches with first and hold second color inside. Fourth stitch, switch to second and 1 stitch with that, switch back to first. Now 4 with first, fourth one, change to second and 1, change back to first and 2, second stitch, change to second color and 1, back to first color and 1, change to second and 1, back to the first. Here is 3, and 1 with the second, 1 with the first, 1 with second. Now 6 with first. One with second. Now 2 with first. 1 with second. And finish with 4 first color. Cut off both, fasten off the first color. Now continue these rows the same way, 6 to 10. So to finish the first row of letters, and then here we will do the first decrease together. On row 11, we're going to decrease 1 stitch on both sides. And using only first color yarn, I simply skip the first stitch and then do my single crochets all across. and then also skip the last stitch. And I don't make a stitch here in the last one, but cut off, fasten off. On row 12 we crochet in each stitch and start the second row of letters. So I did here these 8 stitches with first color, 1 with second, 3 first, 1 second, 2 first, 3 second, 2 first, 1 second, 3 first, 1 second, 8 first. And now I'll do row 13, also the same number of stitches, following the chart here. And row 14 again, decrease, so skip 1 stitch in the beginning and at the end of row, and otherwise follow the chart as before. So I finished row 14 here, and now I'll do 15 and 16, same number of stitches, working with 2 colors. I finished rows 15 and 16, and now 17 again, decrease in the beginning and end of row 1 stitch. And row 18 is the same number of stitches and the last row of letters. And row 19, I'll do the same number of stitches with just first color. On row 20, again I decrease 1 stitch beginning and end of row, work with first color only, and then to row 21, same number of stitches with first color only. On round 22, I will join my third color red to start the heart, and don't decrease on this row. On row 23, I decrease 1 stitch the beginning and end of row and continue with a heart image, and you see that now we decrease stitches after every 2 rows. And starting with row 29, I will decrease on every row until the end. Finish the heart, and now row 31 to 38, just use the first color and decrease on each row. And now, using my third color yarn, I'm going to make surface slip stitches to make the edge prettier. I will leave a longer tail here so I can weave it in later. Make a slip knot. And I start here in this upper corner. So first make a stitch here in this first stitch, and with surface slip stitch the working yarn is always on the back, and we insert hook from front to back through the stitches. And then I insert hook through these next stitches, and it's not every row. So I make about 3 slip stitches per each 4 rows. So just find a good place to do to insert hook through for the next stitch to keep the length of them consistent. And I finished my stitches all the way up to here. Now I don't cut off my yarn because I'm going to continue with it and make the hanging chain. So I'll keep this here, and if this edge doesn't look all perfect, then don't worry, because we can shape it when we block it, which I'm going to do next. And I'll put a stitch marker here in this loop so it won't unravel while I block it. And to block it, first of all, I made it all wet, and now I can stretch it here on my blocking mat. So the top edge is going to be about 5.5 inches. And then I'll just start putting my pins in it and shape it. Next I'm going to trim the ends. And I will let it dry now, and then we can attach the stick. And next I'm going to attach the stick with my first color yarn and single crochet stitches. I'm going to make single crochets in each of these stitches and start with the one in upper right corner. Place the stick here above the stitches. Insert hook through the first one. Yarn over on the back, pull it through, pull it all the way up, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on hook. Next stitch here. I made 35 stitches here, and I will now cut off and fasten off. I will continue with my third color, so I'll take the stitch marker out. So the yarn here on the back, I'm going to reach over, yarn over, pull it through this loop, and I'm also going to slip stitch in the first stitch of the first color yarn to attach to it. Now chain 50 and now to attach it here on the other side, I'm going to first insert hook through that first surface slip stitch that I did here, then yarn over in the back, pull it through all the way up, yarn over, pull through loops, here I will cut off, fasten off, next I will weave in all the ends using the needle, and with this first color tail I'm going to also insert needle through that stitch here that I finished third color with, so that these two are attached, and then I'll just weave it in through these stitches here. And now, last thing that I'm gonna do, if you want to make your fringe fuzzier, I'm going to use my needle to pull these strands apart. And now I want to trim some more. And my love pennant is done. I hope you have fun making this with me. You will find the link to written pattern and the chart in video description box. Thank you so much for watching, and happy crocheting!